This is Bill Kimler, co-host of the Black, White, and Blue in the South podcast. This Halloween, stand out from the crowd with ZJZDesigns.com. Their brand new limited edition spooky prints are here to haunt your wardrobe in the best way possible. With 5 new chilling designs, you'll be ready for trick-or-treating, haunted houses, and everything this spooky season has to offer. Whether you're getting festive for the holidays or just looking for unique, high-quality designs to up your style game, ZJZDesigns.com has you covered. Shop now at ZJZDesigns.com and discover the t-shirts that'll make you stand out in any season. Don't get caught without the coolest Halloween t-shirt. Grab yours before they disappear. ZJZDesigns.com.
The All About Nothing podcast may have language and content
that isn't appropriate for some.
Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome, Nothingers, to the All About Nothing podcast. This is episode number 272. I am Barrett Gruber. This is Zach King. We are here for you through all of the turmoil and everything to, I don't know, I guess, entertain at this point.
Give unwanted opinions that no one asked for.
True. That's very true. So please subscribe and share the show. That's how we get new listeners. Also, please, if you could, consider supporting the show financially by visiting theallaboutnothing.com and becoming an official member and proudly calling yourself a true nothinger. We'll have more details at the end of the show. If you can't do that, please give us a 5-star review, a like, and follow us across social media. You can find links at theallaboutnothing.com. Before we get started, I do just want to acknowledge if you hear me breathing more heavily than normal, it isn't just because of the fat. It's additionally, it's also because
oh god, the self-deprecation.
Whatever. I was around several cats in a confined space,
an alleyway. You couldn't get out.
And it does legitimately take me about a week or so to get over the impact that felines have on my respiratory and allergic system, whatever. So if you hear me breathing more heavily or pausing more to take those longer breaths, it's mostly me just catching up. So
if you were Batman, Catwoman would take you down every time.
I might would have to let her. Which Catwoman are we talking about?
The
original?
No, not the 1960s one.
I would 1960s one, sure.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
In 1989 or Michelle Pfeiffer now?
Oh, no, you're not Batman yet.
She might be a little. I'm not Batman. In 1989, you're a 10-year-old Batman.
No, you're gonna be the 49-year-old man at the bottom of the well. Hey, this is Barrett. I need to get out of here. Oh, there's a lot of bats. There's a lot of bats.
Really should have watched my step.
Yeah.
I do want to start out the podcast, or I guess secondly start out the podcast, because obviously we've already brought light to whatever. This week was tumultuous. Is that the right?
Yeah, it was pretty wild.
I think that Zach and I were texting this week after the events of what happened. And
what was the first thing I said to you, Barrett, when you said that happened?
I'd have to go back and look specifically, but it was not out of it. You checked me. I will just say that like my reaction to it was, so what? Or maybe even towards the, this is a guy that promoted hate. And well, okay, before we get into that, I just want to say that the world that we are living in now is going to continue to leave us shocked. We're gonna be floored. There are things that are going to happen, and obvious this week is no different. It really makes you question what America really stands for when we see this. Obviously, I'm talking about McDonald's bringing back the extra value menu on Monday.
And that sausage.
Yeah, what an abomination. What an abomination. The sausage McMuffin's the one that you're going to highlight on the extra value menu when obviously it's just the egg McMuffin. Just do the egg McMuffin. You don't need that sausage.
Who do they talk to us? Like we're some kind of plebes, like we don't know what we want.
It's just, yeah, McDonald's brought back the extra value menu after what, 20 years, however long? No, okay, sorry, we'll move back. Charlie Kirk being killed this week. The details of who the shooter is and what he represents obviously continue to change. At one point, they said that he was ultra right wing, that he was part of some group that was even far more right than Charlie Kirk, and that, that there was speculation that maybe his family owned land or farmland that was being bought up by this whole program that J.D. Vance is attached to and that Charlie Kirk was really promoting. And so maybe this was a vengeful sort of thing. There were so many things that were being thrown out there that were untrue. Tyler Robinson's father is not a sheriff's deputy. Yeah. They also, while I think the family, the details about the family's voting history was that they tended to vote Republican, but how that I don't know that information really holds any value to it, because they also said that this guy was into like highly into like the meme culture, which
he was part of that Gopher.
Yeah,
I feel like a dumbass because it's like they spelled gopher but put a Y in there.
Yeah,
and you do that and I can't read it. I don't know.
it's ineligible. How friggin' I can't speak this morning. But regardless, it is such a the information coming out. Literally, Bill and I did a kind of daily show on Friday because we wanted to have a show where we had more information. And literally within 10 minutes of that episode publishing, the information that we had was not accurate anymore. We know that the only thing we really know is that they have someone in custody who they believe is tied to the shooting. There are only a few facts. There was one bullet, and that round did all of the damage that it needed to do. And I think after, and I'll admit it, I saw the video. It was horrible, and I feel terrible for the 3,000 people in attendance that might have had a view of that incident, that tragedy. That to see something like that in person, I think is probably just extremely overwhelming, and I can't imagine what effect that's going to have on those people.
Plus, you just hear a shot, you're going to be running around thinking that it's
the next one's coming for you. Like you hear one, in this day and time, the expectation is that you hear one, you hear 50. Especially it was a horrible video to see, and I hope that no one else sees it. I really hope that
I think X, aka Twitter, that just came through on my feed.
Really
unasked for. Yeah.
I really hope that there will be a strong guideline presence that will remove it for every instance that it comes up, because it's horrifying.
Elon Musk Twitter? Hell no.
Well, yeah, you're probably not wrong. So we are recording several days after the event, and while I can't say that I am shocked anymore by these events. I mean, the same day that Charlie Kirk died, we had 4 students at a Colorado elementary school that were sent to the hospital because somebody opened fire into a school. There was another school shooting, the next day.
I think that's the biggest problem I have with all the hubbub about Charlie. If someone lost their life, it shouldn't have happened. But you expect me to give a shit about a dude who propagated that these gun deaths were okay to secure the Second Amendment.
Not even just okay, necessary. He believed that gun deaths were necessary in order to uphold the Second Amendment. He was quoted saying this over and over and over.
And I'm not going to go through all the hate speech that he said because, for one, I'm not going to propagate that kind of hate speech. But I stand on that. That's not how you solve. And again, with this dude killing him, we don't know the motive. I don't know if we'll ever know because they tend not to let you know why a mass shooter, even if they have they're in jail, tell them why I did it. They're gonna be like, well, we're not giving them that time of day.
Yeah, because that only inspires copycats. That inspires others.
I think with the Aurora, Colorado shooting, you never found out why he did it. Dylan Roof, you never. I mean, outside of the race war thing, whatever they did, whatever they put out before they got caught after the act, is all you're gonna know about what they did, why they did it.
Yeah.
We're not going to know. Apparently he wasn't fond of Trump and Charlie Kirk, but he was raised in a MAGA household. Either way, this is not how you solve any kind of dispute. Charlie Kirk debated people. That was his thing. I rather have seen him get destroyed by someone who can out debate him, which is hard to do if you get someone who's good at it.
Well, you have to
even moderately good at it.
Debating Charlie Kirk, you had to put up with the fact that he's never going to answer your question. He's only going to answer. If you ask him a question, and that's not really debating, but he
was a big fan of moving the goalpost whenever you got him.
Yes, correct. Yeah, and literally right before the bullet went through him, the question that was asked was, "Do you know how many mass shootings there have been in the last 10 years?" And rather than answer the question, Charlie Kirk picked up the microphone and said, "Do you mean with or without gang violence or something related to gang violence?" So even in the last words that he used were designed to be as racially
and just divisive.
Period. Yeah, just completely. What does it matter if gang violence related or not? He just asked a simple question: mass shooting. How many mass shootings have been in 10 years? And what Charlie Kirk probably could have said was, I don't know the exact number. Probably a lot. But I don't even know if Charlie Kirk would be willing to admit that because his contract with the NRA probably would have prevented him from, he knows the talking points he can't say. He probably knows exactly what he can say in relation to questions like that. He's well trained. I mean, Charlie Kirk makes millions and millions of dollars every year. He is the benefactor of corporations, gun manufacturers. This is a guy that Turning Point USA took in millions and millions of dollars from corporate sponsorships and things like that. That ultimately, so he's, marketing research. He knew what to say in a question. I don't think there's any question he hasn't planned for that isn't designed.
There was a right wing place for him, as a poster boy for.
Oh yeah, him, Ben Shapiro. I mean, these are two of the same guys. They do it a little differently. Not really that differently, actually. Now that I think about it,
the biggest problem that we're going to have now is, for one, when this happened and they instantly came out and started Trump, everyone started saying the far left is, this is basically the far left that made this happen. This is their fault. This is the Democrats' fault. Is that dumb shit Nancy Mace instantly said. What a loser Nancy Mace is. But just to say that without knowing anything about it, and when it happened and they're like, it's 200 yards away, and they were like, it's the liberals, and I'm like, yeah, all those liberal snipers, yeah, okay. The fact that the far right is now just declaring that this is going to be civil war, that this is the final straw, you're not going to silence us. This was one dude's actions, not speaking for the masses of anybody. Yeah. And again, you won't have a clear picture as to why he did it. I think people need to take a damn chill pill. Ben Shapiro talking about he's going to start going to college campuses. I'm more than welcome Ben Shapiro to go to college campuses and talk and try to do that.
Right. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I'll just say this. One of the things that really bugged me about the whole Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA going to college campuses. He always expresses he was going to these liberal colleges and things like that. He died at the university, or Utah Valley University, historically a very conservative university. We have seen him here at the University of South Carolina several times as
Super
well.
liberal university, Barrett.
Yeah, right. I mean, look, well, you don't have him standing up behind you, but even
I'll fix that.
Shane Beamer made a fairly massive donation in the name of all of the players to something having to do with Charlie Kirk. Like,
I got to move him now.
but I'm just saying, like, University of South Carolina is a safe zone for Charlie Kirk. University
Trump
of Georgia
showed up to our football game.
Yeah, exactly. Charlie Kirk didn't really put himself. You want to go somewhere liberal? Go to Harvard. Go to MIT. Go somewhere where there is. Don't go to Liberty University. Don't go to University of Georgia.
Go to Oxford. And I think he did debate some people at Oxford, but he got destroyed. I don't know if anyone's ever seen that. Please go watch that. But yeah, he would get highly educated young adults at MIT and Harvard. Like, why would he do that? His whole thing was going to these colleges and getting ignorant young people who are just learning, who have no world experience or political experience. Only 19-year-old that I know that is quick and has gone toe-to-toe with Charlie Kirk is Dean Withers. And that kid is an anomaly of how intelligent he is. Again, I enjoy very much, even before this happened, I would watch Charlie Kirk get debate with other people, especially like the round table ones where it was like one conservative versus 20 liberals or whatever. And that discussion is awesome. That's how you progress, is through these kind of debates and discussions. It's how you come to understandings. A lot of times you just come to agree to disagree.
Sure.
That kind of thing.
Yeah, but I think that's one of the things that bugged me about the Charlie Kirk situation. I say bugged. He was very prepared for almost everything that was asked towards him. But you could tell there were some things that were just outside of his scope or just off of his radar, that when they were asked of him, he would absolutely flip out. I saw a video where I didn't see what the question was, but the response that Charlie Kirk had was that he jumped out of his seat and started screaming at this person that was in attendance that had asked him a question, and they literally had to get security to hold Charlie Kirk back. Now, Charlie Kirk is probably 6'1", 6 foot. I mean, he's a tall guy. He's very skinny. He doesn't look particularly athletic. So the idea that he would get so angry that he would jump out of his seat and potentially come off stage to attack somebody for a question that they asked, that just shows that there is a bit of unpreparedness for Charlie Kirk for some scenarios. I have to go back to this idea that I don't think, I don't know that we'll ever truly know what Charlie Kirk's intentions were with this. I know that he was, I know that he was very much, he was very conservative. He showed a lot that he had very strong ties to his faith. I don't remember ever hearing him say that he would pray for liberals, but I'm sure he has. I'm sure, the moment of silence thing that I saw, I can't remember exactly where I saw
it. The Yankees game?
It maybe. No. It wasn't a Yankees game. It was definitely in some legislature somewhere, but somebody said that they wanted to have a moment of silence so that people could pray. And somebody said, no, that's bullshit. If you're going to pray out loud. Do it out loud. Let us hear it. Just to see, because like every time they do a moment of silence, I may reflect on, whatever it is that we're momenting of silencing. But like, I kind of would prefer, if we're going to do this, just go ahead and do it. Because sometimes that moment of silence is 1 second long. Sometimes it's 10 seconds long. Sometimes it's legitimately a minute. But this was in reflection to Charlie Kirk. And I can't remember exactly what it was, but somebody said, they'd like to have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. And then somebody else was like, no, if you're going to do that, just go ahead and say it out loud. Whatever it is you had to say, just say it out loud.
It's funny you mentioned that too, because last night a friend of mine was asking about. He was like, "Well, what did you think of Charlie Kirk?" And I was like, "He had nothing good to say. I didn't care for him in the least." And they were like, "Oh, it's because you're atheist and he's Christian." I was like, "That really has nothing to do with it. He would profess that that's what he is. That's his beliefs. It wasn't that what he was arguing most of the time. I couldn't care less." And I respect that everybody has the fact to believe what they want to believe. If it comes into the realm of what you're debating, I'll happily engage that too. But to me, that was just part of who he was. And I don't have a problem with any of that. His political views, his civil rights views, his views towards women, those were all the problematic things.
Yeah, he was.
And you
clearly
see now people clipping on social media the parts where he talks about God, and people who didn't know who he was just know that he died and go look, and all they're getting is like, oh, he was a good Christian man. Well, continue the clip you shared. You shared 8 seconds of him saying a Christian thing where then he goes off the rails about civil rights or something.
Right.
Like that blows my mind, but that's people not looking past their nose on things.
Yeah. No, I think I get really irritated because obviously my enlightening to having a disconnection from a religious organizational based faith came along after you, and not that you had an impact on that, but I came to recognize more and more that the structure that's built around this faith that was created by human beings in order to, what I see is basically to control. So many things that have come out of religion, when you break them down to their core, for what I have observed is an attempt to control people at their fears. And I think that many Christian-based faith-based faiths have that as their mission statement, unpublished. Like that's the idea is we get these people in the door, we convince them that their fears are real, and the only way for them to be able to save from their fears is, tithe, one, bring us the money, and then we'll regurgitate the scripture that will make you feel better about whatever situation.
It's the numbers saving souls, right?
Right.
Yeah, and put away your logic. I had a pastor tell me that I came to him with my doubts, and I was like, I'm going to talk to you about it. He told me that my generation asked too many questions. Basically, turn your brain off. Quit asking so many questions.
Yeah. Sheep don't have to think. But I will say, for those people that are comfortable in their faith, I have no issue with that.
No, not at all.
That when it comes to the debate of whether there's a God or there isn't a God, I'm one of those people that I have found that over time I've become much more inclined to say, I have to see the proof. I can't just operate on this idea that I have to have some sort of an attachment to exist past death. It doesn't make sense. So Charlie Kirk's attachment to his faith, in relation to my perspective of what I see faith being, it feels hokey.
Did him being religious enhance his views in any way?
Honestly, for me, no. But I think for evangelicals, yeah, 100%. I think that because, if he just threw out there in God's name, or whatever, I think for them, that's all they really, that Donald Trump can sit there and talk about how he wants to get into heaven. And my father-in-law will sit there and be like, obviously his Christianship is just, his stock must be going up because now he's talking more about God and heaven and stuff like that. It's like, cause he's on the brink of death.
Oh, and he needs more money to get into heaven, right? Wasn't that one of the things? Well,
no.
that reminds me, Barrett. Barrett and I are now asking for money, your dollars.
to get into
Here I am
heaven.
again, once again, asking you for money. This time so we can get into heaven. Yeah. Like, what? Grease the palms of St. Peter? Like, yeah. I don't know what that is.
I feel like if I were to regurgitate everything that Trump says or everything that Charlie Kirk says, I can give it as much authenticity as they do.
Yeah.
And they would not believe me compared to them believing Charlie Kirk and Donald Trump, because it isn't, I don't think it's, like you said, I don't think it's always about the religion. I think that for them that's just like that's a bonus point. But I don't, it's such again, I go back to, we live in what is absolutely the dumbest timeline, because I can't wrap my head around why people are one. And I want to talk about the political violence part of all of this, because obviously Charlie Kirk was extremely conservative and he was pretty MAGA. But even 2 days before his assassination,
yeah,
that's right. Even 2 days before his assassination, he was saying that Congress needed to vote to release all of the Epstein files, that all of the documentation and everything that's been being held by the FBI and the Department of Justice,
there's one name on it for sure, guys.
Well, I look, Wall Street Journal's already reported that the FBI and the Department of Justice have gone through and redacted Donald Trump's name from virtually everything in those files.
How do they know?
How does the Wall Street Journal know? Leaks, I assume. I don't. Here's my grain of salt. Yeah. I think we all know that in all likelihood, Donald Trump was friends with Jeffrey Epstein. I think for anyone to deny that is obviously living in some other dimension, because there are too many pictures of them together. There are too many videos. We know Donald Trump was on the flight logs. We know Bill Clinton was on the flight logs. We know that Bill Gates was on the flight logs. We know people were on them.
Here's the difference between us and MAGA. Go arrest all of them.
Yeah, burn every one of them. I have zero issue with any of that.
The person who shot Charlie Kirk, prosecute his ass to the fullest extent of the law.
Yeah.
He murdered someone in public.
Yeah.
That's our difference.
Mangione, the guy that killed the United Healthcare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him too.
You find if the evidence shows that he did it and the intent and everything, guilty. I have no issue with that.
Right there, dude.
Can
we talk about the cringiest thing that happened of all of this? I'm going to let you guess what's the cringiest thing that's happened in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk.
Let me see.
It involves the beloved head of the FBI.
So I have seen some headlines about Kash Patel, and first of all, weird dude anyway. But like
a dweeb is all I could say. Is this dude's a dweeb?
Him standing behind the governor of Utah and the Utah governor, I don't have any issues with. He's not extremely, he's very middle of the road. And he made comments during a press conference, I want to say it was Thursday, I think, about basically saying, we need to stop this. We need to take a break. We need to come together. We need to and Kash Patel's just sitting behind him, standing. I said sitting because for most people, it would have been in a position of sitting where he was relative to everyone else's height. But he's just sitting here with his eyes.
Dude. And then his speech, rest well, my brother. I have the watch now. I'll see you in Valhalla. and his like suit doesn't fit. I was like, yikes. Fucking yikes, dude.
I gotta believe that at some point, because Donald Trump is very, very concerned about what people look like, the people that represent him, what they look like, because he doesn't see Kash Patel as the head of the law enforcement division. He sees Kash Patel as a stand-up doll that you put in front of a crowd sometimes as a sense of authority. But then you look at Kash Patel and you're like,
it was his DEI hire.
Why did his parents let him out after 8:30 p.m.? Like the lights are on.
Can you imagine
should be going home.
At the FBI offices over the cubicles, you just see the top of his head in his little footsteps. And he comes across, he's like, guys, we have to figure this out.
I will say, I think that it's a really bad idea to allow Kash Patel to write his own speeches. It's not a good idea.
Valhalla. What watch does he have from Charlie Kirk?
And
what watch is he taking over?
It doesn't make any sense. And
oh man, yeah, I saw that. I was like, ew. I can't.
I feel like the rhetoric coming out of MAGA and the right, and we talked about it a little bit at the beginning with, this idea that all liberals are bad and all liberals wanted Charlie Kirk's ending, which isn't remotely true.
No. I didn't want him to die in the least.
I mean, here's a fact. And I know that some people don't recognize this, but death comes for all of us at some point.
No one gets out alive.
Yeah. And the circumstances around those deaths are not within our control. So I told somebody the other day, I said, I feel like I'm being forced also to have sympathy, which I will give sympathy for these people that were in his hemisphere, in his atmosphere, that I have sympathy for Charlie Kirk because he suffered, I think, what was probably pretty quick. Because I think even after I saw the video,
CSI
I was like,
said that it was pretty much instant.
Yeah, after I saw the video, that was my immediate thought was, there's no way.
He did something called cortigating, which is where your hands. Learning about that was just like, dying's not pretty. I think the irony of all of it is the one thing that like you have to acknowledge, but not celebrate. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because I don't revel in this man dying in the least.
No, not at all.
There's a lot of irony to it. I wish that wasn't how it happened at all. I wish that he didn't die. I wish that he was still around to give discourse. I wish he never stepped foot on another campus and just said hateful shit.
Yeah, I do. I wish that he could control. I wish that he would have controlled his message to show compassion for everyone. Not and but that's one of those things. I don't think Charlie Kirk was old enough. He was 31 years old. I don't think he was old enough to have experienced enough of life to recognize that every single prejudice that you have doesn't necessarily mean that you're right. It just means that you have a prejudice. You have some sort of innate expression or reaction to something. And allowing for those reactions to turn into what Charlie Kirk made millions of dollars on is ultimately, I think, for me, is where Charlie Kirk didn't have the life experiences necessary to really recognize how unified the planet really is, even though we seem very divided. And that was the thing he was missing all the time. That everything was about him and his group and how they were being undermined, or how all of this was impacting them negatively, and not recognizing how even sometimes negative impacts have far-reaching positive impacts across, and I'm not saying that you should always just let everything go, but there's a time and a place, and to demonize people just based on the fact that you feel like they're getting one-upped over you, was a lot of what his message was. And it spoke to a lot of people. That's one of the biggest problems, is the fact that a lot of people felt that way. And Charlie Kirk gave a voice to it and allowed for it to fester into what we saw.
And he had a lot of opinions that white people were getting washed away in society. And I want to know where like that view would come from, to think that white people are the brunt of everything and that all white people are bad. Barrett is two white guys. I don't get that. I don't feel like white people are being washed away, or
I don't feel that either. I think that as a white man, I while I don't always recognize my white position, I don't always recognize how I am luckier, that I have more advantages. I don't always recognize it, but when I take a step back, I do see that there are advantages to being a white male in the United States, that certain times eyes won't find me where they'll find somebody else. If I am if I'm in a group of people and there are security presence or whatever, the likelihood is they're not watching me. That white privilege allows for me to feel like I'm not being profiled or judged. I again, I don't always recognize it until I take a step back and say, yeah, that was probably a little easier for me than it was for Trent or Dominique or JB or Brandon or something like, that's just that. But again, I have to take that step back and observe from a different perspective.
Yeah. Sure.
And I don't think that Charlie Kirk and his audience were ever willing to do that. I don't think Donald Trump's ever willing to do that.
No, I think they just don't like white jokes, which is fucking hilarious.
Can I just say on that?
There's no rationale to half the shit he said anyway.
I don't know when it's going to be appropriate. I don't know when we're going to have gotten past the point at which we can start making jokes about things related to Charlie Kirk, but they are burning a hole in my brain.
Oh no, Barrett, you got to stuff that shit down.
A lot of people losing their jobs over some of the things that
well, some of them should, dude. Like, people make awful t-shirts, and
I don't disagree. Real quick, want to wish friend of the show, Leroy Green, a happy birthday. He is turning 78 today. Actually, not today, tomorrow. But Leroy Green, did I say 78? I meant 79. Leroy Green turning 79 years old.
Dude, that man dirty. He is 80. Barrett, give him his due.
Leroy Green, of course, of the We Try and channel on YouTube. And they do a great job. I really do enjoy their movie reviews. And they prevent me or create a scenario where I am spending money to go see a movie in a theater, because based on their recommendation, I haven't had any issue. They are not wrong. Michael Patterson and Leroy Green. So happy birthday, Leroy. Hope you hear this. Even if you don't, I'm going to put it on social media, and then you'll definitely
show up to your
house
with balloons.
That's right. One of the other things that's come out is, and I think we talked about it just a little bit, but this idea that the liberal side, and Donald Trump was asked a question on Fox News, and I shared the video clip. I shared a very small piece of the video clip on my TikTok intentionally. I cut it off intentionally because the girl from South Carolina who sits on the Fox News, she's dating Sean Hannity.
Ew.
It feels gross to say it. Like, my mouth kind of reacted a little bit. There was a little bit extra saliva.
He feels like a robe guy.
Yeah. You know what? I think that is. You're right. He does feel like a robe guy. Like even in a full suit, he's wearing a robe on top of that. Anyway, so Trump is on the couch on Friday morning with Fox and Friends.
Only after Vance got a hold of it.
Yeah. And the one of the hosts, I can't remember her name, but she's a cute blonde. Well, it's Fox News. It's always a cute blonde. But she asked the question, basically paraphrasing, there are radicals on the right, there are radicals on the left. How do we bring this country back together? And Donald Trump's comment was, I know this is gonna get me in trouble, but I couldn't care less. And that's where I ended the clip, because what he said after that added no context.
Well, I don't know.
What he said after that was basically, radicals on the right are only radical because they care too much about this country. I'm paraphrasing, but they care about things like security. They care about things like violence and our cities. And then he becomes more obscure. But basically, the people on the right are radical because they care too much about the country. And then he said, but the ones on the left hate everything that those ones care about. That was, and I'm paraphrasing. So essentially, he didn't explain his reasoning for not caring about wanting to bring the country back together. That's why I cut it off. That's why I ended the clip there, because nothing that he said after that added to or took away from the impact of what he said, which was, again, I couldn't care less about bringing the country back together. I couldn't care less. That's what he said. And I think for anyone on the right or on the left should have a reaction to the fact that the president of the United States would prefer to not do anything to fix the country, to heal the country, that he likes. And I'm breaking it down. I get it. I'm now forming opinions and assumptions off of it. But this is a man who does not want the country unified. He only wants it divided. And he says what he means.
I think he wants what he wants, and he doesn't care if it's divided. That's not. I think it's not in his wheelhouse.
He benefits from division. If we were unified,
divided or not, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. That's not in his wheelhouse. He wants people to like him. If you don't, fine, and he'll paint you in whatever light he wants. And in this case, it's never a positive light unless you're, knuckle deep in his ass for him. He doesn't care about you
wearing a robe.
Wearing a robe.
I can't deny that the country is extremely divided. But when it comes to Charlie Kirk's assassination, and that I'm going to keep calling it that. It's not just his death. It's not just his murder. It was an assassination.
Yeah.
I cannot, and I have not seen anything out of Democrats that would lead me to believe that they are pleased with that outcome. I have not seen any governors, representatives, senators,
former presidents.
Yeah, I have not seen a single one. We saw an outcrying of sadness, or not sadness really, but just sympathy for Charlie Kirk and everyone in his sphere, from the likes of George W. Bush, Bill Clinton, Al Gore, Bill Maher. We saw what was, and I interpreted it as being genuine from all of them. But Donald Trump calls for a war against liberals, essentially.
Yep. Let's call it the majority of right-wing pundits and stuff instantly pointed the finger at the left, and all that, and that the side of empathy and compassion is now doing assassinations and joyous that there are people on TikTok that are disgusting, and you cannot go off of just TikTok about that kind of
Right.
shit or social media for it. The public facing people, anybody with, a sense in their head is not applauding any political assassination of any human life, much less Charlie Kirk, anyone else. That's not how you do. It's not the way it is. To have that conversation and give that chance to have somebody understand through discourse, through discussion, that's a much better route to go do anything. I hate that he's gone. I hate that he got murdered.
Yeah. But
I would like him alive and gone, not dead and gone.
Yeah. Retired, early retirement.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to leave his children and his wife without a father and husband. That is ultimately, but so the left is not the group that has turned this into an excuse to attack the right. But the right has definitely turned it into an excuse to attack the left. I have, and to your point, I've seen many TikToks from people on the right or people that are calling for now the political assassinations of people on the left. I'm seeing where AOC's supposed to be doing some sort of a tour and has canceled her tour because of the serious threats that have been made against her and her tour. I have seen where several people that had town halls scheduled from Wednesday through the next, I want to say some of them have canceled all the way through September, that they are canceling these because of what they have perceived to be credible threats against whoever the speaker was in order to protect them from possible danger because of credible threats being made against their campaigns and things like that. And it's like Ben Shapiro on Bill Maher last night said that even he on the right is because of the threats that get made against his life all the time, which I still find that hard to believe because up until a year ago, I knew the name Ben Shapiro. I couldn't pick him out of a crowd.
Only a year ago?
Mostly, but here, in my defense, mostly because usually the average height of people is like 5'7". So in a crowd, Shapiro would be hard to find because he's like 4'8", 4'9". That was probably one of those too soon jokes. But
he's a short dude.
But legitimately, people in positions of power are now concerned for themselves, and they're taking it seriously. And it's not because, and I said Ben Shapiro is sort of one of the outliers, but I say that based on the fact that these are Democrats and liberals that are canceling their events out of fear because of what's being said. So
yes.
we'll close it out. Say this, that Charlie Kirk didn't deserve what happened.
No.
And as much as I disagree with Charlie Kirk on everything, this was the worst way to handle your disagreement with him. And again, we don't know why the shooter did it. We don't know why Tyler Robinson, 22 years old of Utah, did what he did. We may never know.
Threw his whole damn life away.
Exactly. So, Zach and I feel the same way. Please don't cancel us.
They showed empathy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. That is going to do it for episode 272. Thank you very much for listening. Links to all of our past episodes, podcast platforms, merchandise, and social media are available on our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com. And if you think our financial model of giving away free content and entertainment is silly and you're in the giving mood, why not become an official Nothinger and support the show? Members get early access to this episode as well as exclusive content. You can visit members.theallaboutnothing.com, or you can find a link on our webpage. You can also give a one-time donation through the same link. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can call and leave us a message, 803-672-0533. You can email theshow@theallaboutnothing.com, or you can join our Discord server where there are links available. Thank you again, everybody, for listening. You all stay safe, be kind, and absolutely, you have to
Keep your hands to yourself.
please.
The All About Nothing podcast is a product of Big Media and produced and engineered by me, Barrett Gruber. Thanks to Cake for our intro music, Sick of You. You can follow everything Cake the band at cakemusic.com. Thanks to Muff the producer for our outro music. You can follow Muff on Instagram at Muff the producer. You can follow me across social media by visiting Linktree/Barrett Gruber. And you can follow Zach King on Linktree/AANZach. Want to support the show? Visit our webpage, theallaboutnothing.com, and become a member. There are several tiers available that give you early access to episodes as well as exclusive content. To find links to our social media, podcast platforms, and merchandise to support the show, as well as past episodes, visit theallaboutnothing.com. If you'd like to be a part of the show, you can email theshow@theallaboutnothing.com, or you can call our number and leave a message. Dial 803-672-0533. If the time between these episodes is more than you can handle, check out our sister shows. What the Pod Was That with Carrie, Zach, and myself. Welcome to Wonderland with Ami. Politically Speaking with Erica, Kirsten, and Emily. And Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jameel Brooks and Bill Kimmler. Please subscribe and share this show. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and punch that notification bell. Thank you for listening, and hear us next week. The preceding podcast is a product of Big Media, LLC, and is copyright 2025, all rights reserved.